Hey, hey, we are here for all things marketing and with a pretty hot topic. And I have two stories to share that actually happened this weekend that can contribute to today's topic, which is going to be client follow-up made simple systems that book for you. So I'm really excited because this is the class that's for the esthetician owner who juggles everything. And here's Tiffany. Let's let her in. Great. Who juggles everything like services, admin, marketing, all of it. So you're going to learn how to follow up in a way that feels natural, it feels consistent, it feels easy without needing to be glued to your text messages and so on and so forth. So this is about creating systems that work for you while you do what you love, which is usually being in the treatment room caring for your clients. All right. So the truth is that most estheticians, um, they believe that they have a time problem. If I talk to estheticians, they tell themselves, I'm just too busy to do this and that and the other, to answer a text, to follow up. I'm always in the treatment room and I'll get back with them later. That's fair, right? But the real issue isn't time, it's actually structure. And human behavior always defaults to the path of least resistance. So if your booking system has too many steps, the brain perceives it as effort, and effort creates friction, and friction kills momentum, and it also kills cash in your pocket. Clients won't say, hey, this is too hard. They're just going to quietly move on. But there is definitely a deeper shift here, and that is to stop relying on your memory, your availability, your willpower. None of those are sustainable. Willpower is weak when stacked against environment. You need a system that removes the friction automatically, one that is easier for clients to say yes to than to walk away. And I just to be clear, that delayed response, those aren't neutral. It creates mistrust. I know. It's the real deal because we live in such an Amazon world where things are automatic, but it's not even about that. In the client's mind, no response equals maybe I'm not important, or maybe she's too busy. She doesn't need a new client. And that's not the story you want your business telling. So the real problem isn't that you don't care. It's that you haven't built an environment that communicates, hey, booking with me is effortless and you matter to me. And once that environment is in place, follow up isn't a chore, it's automatic. Okay. So, all right. So the booking bottleneck. I call this the every extra click equals fewer bookings. So when we get off this training today, what I want you to do is go to your site and click to book with yourself and just kind of count how many clicks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? Just kidding. No, how many clicks does it take to actually book with you? And you might be surprised. So we talk about this in the advanced marketing section, which is still one of my favorite sections within the inner circle material, and that the human brain is wired to conserve energy. And we really brought this up during 2020 because we moved to such an online world, and that we really have to be communicating very clearly in the digital space. Every decision, every click, every extra step in your booking process requires cognitive effort. And when clients feel effort, they hesitate. We want to make it really easy. And will call this decision fatigue. It's why people abandon shopping carts online. It's not that they don't want the product, they just don't want the friction. So I had this happen over the weekend. I wanted to purchase some photos from a dog sport event that my dog was in, and the photographer's website did not make it easy for me to purchase these photos. And I finally, after like attempting it 3 times, I probably did more than the average person because I really wanted it and I had to walk away. I finally messaged the photographer and I was like, look, girl, I can't, I'm trying to buy photos and your keeps bringing me back to zero products, in the cart. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's really terrible. And I'm like, girl, you are losing money. So her solution was to tell me the 3 photos that I wanted and that she would send me an invoice. So this manual booking, it slows people down. It's not going to be sustainable for you either. This is the same for your business. If someone has to message you, wait for a reply, confirm a time, and then maybe send a payment or a deposit or whatever your process is, every step introduces resistance, okay? And resistance equals lost revenue, all right? So complexity is the enemy of progress. If your booking process is complex, it's just slowing you down and it's costing you clients. So I want you to think about your environment design. Your environment should make the desired action, the booking, right? The booking is what you want, the easiest and most obvious choice. That means a single link, one click, immediate clarity. If how do I book? How do I purchase? How do I get these 3 photos? Is even a thought in your client's head, your environment isn't doing its job. So remember this, people don't quit because they don't want your service. They quit because you made it a little too hard to say yes. So clear and simple marketing sells, confusing marketing may cost you money. So the shift is simple and profound, remove the bottleneck, right? So go through your bookings and see if it's just one click. If it's more, let's talk about it. You know, let's build an environment where booking with you is the path of least resistance because when booking is effortless, clients stop hesitating and they start committing. So the solo esthetician's dilemma, because there's mostly solo estheticians in this group, and we do have a few that have teams, but how can I follow up when I'm in the treatment room all day? This is a common question that I get, and it's a dilemma that every solo esthetician faces when you are the service provider, you're the receptionist, you check them out, you're the social media, you're doing it all at once. And because you wear so many hats, you probably convinced yourself that being too busy is just the way it has to be. But I really want you to pause here because this isn't really about time. It's about expectation and environment. In today's world, clients expect quick communication. They want to feel acknowledged instantly, even when you're in the treatment room. And the psychology behind this is simple. When people don't hear back, they interpret that silence as I, I'm just not important. Even if you didn't mean it that way, that's the story their brain tells. So the shift happens is that you can't outwork the problem. You can't physically be in 2 places at once, but you can design an environment that makes clients feel seen without being present. And that's what systems do. They multiply you, okay? You operate in your unique talents in the treatment room, delivering your craft. Everything else needs to be delegated, automated, or templatized. In our high level coaching programs, we call this like we do a lot of like future self thinking. Your future self isn't answering every DM manually or sending late night texts to catch up on a client's message, or your future self has systems that make communications seamless. So the real dilemma isn't that you don't have enough hours in the day. The real dilemma is whether you'll keep clinging to the belief that you have to do everything manually, or whether you'll step into building an environment that works for you. And once you do that, clients are going to feel cared for, even when you're doing what you do best, working your magic in the treatment room. So we're going to go over 3 follow-up stages, and we'll break down each one: before the booking, after the booking, and then when they go silent, what to do, what happens then. So follow-up is just not a one-time action. And I think that is something worthy of writing down. Follow-up is a sequence that shapes how clients experience you beyond the treatment room. So psychologically, people need touch points at different stages to feel secure and to move forward with a decision. So before booking, their mind is in a different place. It's in evaluation mode. It's uncertain. They're weighing options. They're easily distracted. A clear, frictionless path to say yes reduces hesitation and quiets the doubt. Okay. After the appointment is booked, the brain shifts a little bit, and it goes into like reinforcement mode, gratitude and care. At this stage, lock in the memory of the experience. So when you acknowledge them, their trust deepens and they associate with you and your reliability and your support. But when clients go silent, it doesn't mean rejection. And I think that's like the first thing our brain goes to. It means that life took over. I mean, let's face it, you know, we live in a very distracted world. The psychological principle here is that people respond to reminders that are timely, that are personal, and that are low pressure. A gentle nudge reactivates their intention and brings you back to the top of their mind, and that's what you want. So follow-up works because it mirrors how people actually make decisions gradually through repeated, meaningful contact. It's not chasing, it's guiding. Okay, I want you to write that down. It's not chasing them, it's guiding them. And when you honor the psychology of timing, you eliminate missed opportunities without ever feeling pushy. That's not what it's about. Okay, so before the booking, make it silly easy to say yes. All right, so I want you to double check all of your bios. You're going to get a workbook with this as well to fill in and to also follow along for the replay. But the brain craves an obvious path. So let's eliminate, hey girl, how do I book with you? For good. Okay, we want to eliminate that. If someone has to hunt you down for how to book, you've already lost them. By placing your booking link everywhere: your bio, your website, your email signature, you remove the need for thought. Easy access equals instant action. So I did take a look at, in the Facebook group, your Facebook profiles, and even on your personal page, I want you to start putting links in all of your bios. We save it mostly for our business page, and it's just not, most people want to get to know you. And so you want to make sure, if they're going to look you up to see what you're all about, that you have links within your bio. Okay. The One of our phrases that we say in our advanced marketing is, we automate the predictable and we humanize the exceptional. We automate the predictable and we humanize the exceptional. And I love that because we can automate some things. Obviously, we're one of the last services where we're physically touching people. And so that is really, we are in the relationship business, we are in the connection business. And we want to make sure that we are dialed in and rolling out the red carpet and delivering those magic moments and delivering, wow, hands down, amazing, blow your mind customer service because it's just not seen as much anymore. But how about autoresponders for DM and for text, right? Clients want acknowledgement right away. Even a short delay creates uncertainty. Did she get my message? Does she even want me as a client? An autoresponder calms the nervous system instantly. It signals you're seen, you're valued, and here's your next step. This preserves the momentum at the exact moment that they're most likely to book. I'm going to tell you about an autoresponder that I got over the weekend. This is the other story. So I purchased some dog treats that are natural, organic, whatever, at this regional competition last month, and my dogs experienced vomiting from the products. So I wrote the owner who I met at this event and just said, hey, this happened. I'm concerned. Can we set up a time to chat this week? I got an automatic AI response that was like, sorry to hear about your pup. I'm going to escalate this email. Now, I didn't hear from him until later today, but I did it over the weekend, and just that autoresponder did kind of put me at ease. Like, hey, I felt like I had been seen, I felt like I had been heard, and they understood that I had a problem and that I needed to speak to someone. So set up autoresponders to say something like, hey, your message, is important to me. I'm likely with a client. If you're new to me, hello, make it super friendly. Here's the best way to book yourself in. If you're a new client, book your new Brazilian hair. If you're a new facial client, book your get to know you treatment and consultation here. And, and it's very easy to set up even those autoresponders on your text so that when you are with a client, you can fully be with your client, and you know that anybody call or that texts you, like if you have that call to action that's on your website or on your DMs to text you, that it's being answered and you'll get back to them, or you'll look at it in between clients. You don't have to reach in your pocket. You can fully be present with the client that's on your treatment table at that moment. And it's a peace of mind for you. It's peace of mind for you. And then we want to have a clear CTA, also known as call to action, on every platform. Every platform. The human brain avoids ambiguity. If your call to action is passive, which we do talk about in the advanced marketing, like, hey, learn more, or check out my services, or message me to book, it creates that hesitation. A direct call to action like book your spot here gives the mind one option, not many. So clear marketing reduces decision fatigue and pushes them into that commitment, which is what you want. Okay. And then after the appointment, you want to reinforce that experience and encourage the rebooking. Now, this is an important step. I did thank you cards to every single brand new client. They got a handwritten card. So you could have that automated as well, where if a client does book with you and you are doing a specific service, you could have different tags within your email marketing system. Like, it's a facial client, it's going to go to this list. So therefore, you're going to send a thank you that pertains to a facial client. You can also send a thank you in a different list to a waxing client. But that is just amazing customer service. I feel like we fall down quite a bit as estheticians with that follow-up and the after appointment. We're so good about being with them when they're on our table and during that appointment, but we really want to reinforce that bond, that connection, that new relationship. It's so important. The handwritten cards, there was a statistic with that. It was 70% are more likely to return to you with a handwritten card. I think that statistic might be more in today's world because most people are sending digital thank yous, and there is just nothing like a handwritten card. You know, I also had little prescription pads where I said, this is your aftercare. I'd write everything out. I got a copy of it. My client got the hard copy. And then I think that rebooking them on the spot, if we took that time instead of just, again, that is amazing customer service to just go ahead and set them up for their next appointment versus sending them to your booking link. It's like, again, it's like, I don't have time for you, right? And so before all of these booking apps started taking over, I feel like estheticians in a way are treating the booking app like their new receptionist. You know what I mean? Like go to my site and book, girl. Which is fine if they're texting you and messaging you like to direct them that way, but once they're in front of you and you're recommending a treatment plan, let's go ahead and schedule your next visit. I want to see you in a month, and does this day work for you? Now, I think another beautiful touch point is that 3 to 5 day check-in after. How does your skin feel? How is your wax? How are things going? Just wanted to check in with you to see how you're doing. People would be like, whoa, holy cow. And then if they hadn't rebooked, then at that 3 week mark, you can go ahead and do that gentle rebooking nudge. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when clients go quiet. We don't want to ghost the ghosters. I love that. It's just like silence does not mean rejection. It usually means distraction. Life crowds out even the things people value. Okay. Life just gets in the way of the things people value, and that could be you. The psychological truth is that most people appreciate being remembered. They rarely view it as pushy when it's done with warmth. Okay. But we have this mindset that we're being pushy and I don't want to bother my client. It's just like, hey, I'm checking in with you, ready for your next glow. You're overdue for your wax appointment. I just want to keep you on track. Is everything okay? Do you have time to come in this week or next? This works because it's casual, it's future focused. The brain responds better to invitations than interrogations. You know, it's really you're not asking, "Hey, why haven't you booked?" You're affirming that they will return. You're simply holding the door open. You're holding the door open for them. I got a last minute opening and I thought of you. Scarcity and personalization combined, the mind is wired to act when an opportunity feels both rare and tailored. Okay. By linking the opening directly to them, you trigger their sense of importance and timeliness. So let's get your skin back on track before this next season or before your wedding coming up or your class reunion, you see. This frames rebooking as preparation, not an indulgence. And psychology shows people act faster when tied to upcoming milestones. It transforms your follow-up from optional self-care to a timely necessity. So remember, clients don't ghost you because they've lost interest. And I think we get our feelings hurt if they tend to ghost us. They ghost because life just got noisy, and your gentle reminder cuts through that noise. The act of reaching out tells them, hey, you matter, and I remembered you. And in a world where most people feel invisible, being remembered is magnetic, really. So let's set up systems that you can set and forget. Okay. Choose one platform that automates, does confirmations, reminders, follow-ups. You don't need 10 apps. You just need one that you use well. That's probably going to be your booking app. And if you have any kind of reusable templates, you're already like ahead of 95% of estheticians. All right. So the most powerful systems are the ones that work while you don't. So when you're in the treatment room, um, you need tools running in the background that protect the client experience and that keep your calendar full. That's just really it. So booking platforms like Square, Acuity, Vulgaro aren't just convenience, they're psychology. We like these. There's probably more that you can embed into your website as well. So we like ones, we like booking apps that you can embed into your website. Um, but they provide instant clarity, booking platforms. And the client sees the options, chooses the time, and then feels like they're in control. Boom, boom, boom. That sense of autonomy makes them more likely to commit and less likely to cancel as well. So email and text automation. We like Active Campaign, we like ConvertKit. There's a few others. You want to have some follow-up funnels. This is about timing. So the human brain forgets quickly. So automated confirmations, reminder, keep you top of mind without you lifting a finger, and they reduce the no-shows because they arrive exactly when clients are most likely to forget. So automations protect both your revenue and your peace of mind. So how about some SOPs and templates? This is the environmental design. Instead of like rewriting messages every time, you rely on proven words that carry that consistency, and consistency builds trusts, and trust builds loyalty. So when a client hears the same reliable tone at every touch point, they feel safe. Okay. And there are principles to remember. Automate the predictable, humanize the exceptional, automate confirmations, reminders, rebooking nudges, humanize the thank you notes, the personal check-ins, the little touches that make someone feel remembered. I used to take a ton of notes in SOAP notes for every single client. I remembered birthdays, their kids' names, all the stuff. When you start building up a clientele base of 300, it's going to be hard to keep track of birthdays and anniversaries and kids' names. But when you start personalizing things like that, it's exceptional to the client. So when you strike that balance, systems create freedom, and you stop being reactive, and you can step into a role as a business owner who is always present for the client in front of you, even when you're not physically available. So let's create your repeatable system today. Put your booking link placement in your bios, and everything you learned today can be packaged in a simple SOP for yourself, a checklist, you or your VA, if you have one, can follow. If you build the system now, it'll continue to work for you for months ahead and even years to come. And you can adjust it as you grow. The booking link is the gateway to your business. Psychology tells us people follow the path of least resistance. If that link is buried, or worse, missing, you're asking clients to exert effort that they don't really have. And visibility equals conversions, and your link should be live everywhere in bios, email signatures, business cards, even QR codes. Okay. QR codes in your treatment room. And when the action is always in front of them, booking becomes the default behavior. Okay. So following up is not pushy, it's powerful. It's how you stay top of mind. It builds trust. It grows your revenue without sacrificing your time or energy. So don't think of it as a follow-up as being salesy. I've heard that term a lot. Like, I don't want to be a bother to them. I don't like getting emails, so therefore I don't email. And it's just like, think of it as a service. Clients want to feel remembered, supported, and guided. And you can do that even while you're in the treatment room with systems and templates that do all the heavy lifting for you. The biggest block estheticians have with the follow-up mindset, um, with follow-up is the mindset structure. Like, I'm gonna be a nuisance, right? They worry about feeling pushy, salesy, or annoying. And follow-up isn't pressure, it's presence. Okay. Psychologically, people have and they crave consistency and memory. When you reach out, you're saying, I remember you. You matter to me. And that creates emotional safety. And in a world where most people feel invisible, being remembered is just invaluable. It's just invaluable. Okay. So let's just go through some action steps that we kind of covered today. And that is, knowledge without action changes absolutely nothing. So in these classes, I'm just going to put up 4. Even if you do 1, you've taken action on 1. Knowledge without action changes nothing. The psychology of commitment says you're far more likely to follow through when you take the first step immediately. So I think the first step is the easiest. So what do you do next? Place your booking link everywhere. Think of, make sure that it's on your bio, on all of your social handles, and that it's the only thing. It's the only link. They don't have like a million choices. Visibility drives behavior. So by the end of today, your link should be live in your bio, your email signature, maybe put it on a QR code, and then write 3 reusable templates. So that could be like a rebooking nudge. So that way, if you can store these templates on your phone. You can keep it simple, a thank you message. You can maybe add a personal touch to it, a rebooking nudge, and a reconnection note. Those 3. So a thank you message, a rebooking nudge, and a reconnect note for someone that hasn't been in for 3 months or more. And once they're written, you never really have to start from scratch again. Now you can adjust the templates. Sometimes I'll go through and we'll adjust our email templates. I'm like, I don't like the way that sounds anymore. I want to change it up, right? So as you evolve, so will your templates, just like the way you do things with a client, right? But templates remove the hesitation for you and for them. Set up one autoresponder. Set it up on your business page, set it up on your personal page, set it up in your Instagram. Even one message. Thank you so much. You're important to me. Here's the link. If you're new to me, hello. I love that one. Like, just like hello. And here's the link to book with me. And then mark quarterly reconnection dates. So run reports quarterly. Open your calendar and set a reminder for 3 months out. I want you to do that right now. Open up your own calendar and set a reminder for 3 months out. And that one act will guarantee that you circle back with past clients and keep the pipeline warm. Remember, it is so much easier to get a client back in the door who we've already put our hands on, because it's considered a warm client, not a cold lead from, social media or Google. The psychology is simple in that, is that small, immediate actions build confidence, and confidence builds capability. Capability builds momentum. And momentum is what transforms an idea into systems that work, you know? So take one step today. By the time you complete these four, you'll already be ahead of 95% of estheticians, and your clients will feel the difference. All right, let's have some Q&As. Let's see who is on. Let's see. Hey, all right, Tiffany. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I love it. Do you have any questions or do you want to talk about anything regarding today's training? You can unmute, you can be on camera, whatever you feel like. Type in the chat box, whatever you're comfortable with. All right. Well, you will get a workbook with this recording, so it will be great. So you can utilize that workbook for the 4 action steps. The 4 action steps will be on there. And Tiffany, if you need anything, please reach out to the team. Otherwise, have a beautiful rest of the day, and we'll see you inside the inner circle.